Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good day. Welcome to my live market meeting, 23rd July 2020. There is a delay between me sharing the screen and YouTube sharing it with the viewers. Can you let me know if you can hear me and see my screen, please? You may use the YouTube live chat button. Thank you for noticing. Are you able to hear me now? I think so. Let me continue. These are the systems that I use for my trading. I use Q Elite running on TradeStation and Q Global and Q Finder running on Metastock for technical analysis, charting and scanning. I use Q Vital for fundamental analysis, Q Edge for real-time sector industry rotation analysis, and Q Index for market level index analysis. Today I am going to show you some of the enhancements made to Q Vital, Q Edge and Q Index for looking for the best fundamental stocks even more quickly. I will demonstrate it using any of the systems, and the changes have been applied to all of them in the same way. You will find them quite useful. That was the last slide of my presentation. Let me continue with the live system. Let's start with the usual market analysis. Global markets, starting with Australian market, AXJO. Last week I mentioned it was moving inside a range. Then we had a bullish flow. Only for one day price pulled back and again a bullish flow candle today. We can recognize the flow from the ribbon also in Metastock. However, the weekly is still very indecisive. We may wait before taking new long trades. China market, CSI 800. You may use CSI 800 or CSI 300. 800 is broader. It displayed a bearish headwind 1 week ago. This week it has an inside bar in the weekly chart. In the daily, there was a bearish flow, then price recovered. So far it has a lower high. If now price comes down and gives us a magenta color bearish flow candle in daily, that might signal a shorting opportunity, provided the weekly is also matching the required condition. If the weekly doesn't match the required condition, that is the weekly doesn't turn magenta, then we will not have a go with flow short setup in the daily. At minimum, if a magenta flow candle comes in daily, then you may protect profit in existing long positions. Chinese market is looking much more bullish than Australian market. Let's look at the India market. This is also looking very bullish. When we look at the weekly chart, very strong indeed. In the daily, it has a memory resistance nearby. If you watched my last video or webinar, you know that when price was at this point, I mentioned that was the opportune time to buy. If not this Nifty index itself, some of the fundamentally strong stocks in the Indian market that worked very well. Nifty went up, hit the resistance. Therefore, many stocks also had gone up. You could make a handsome profit by buying some of the fundamentally strong underlying stocks. That is the basic philosophy of all the Q trade setups. In Go with Flow, we try to buy when price dips a little bit while being in an uptrend. On this day, we had a bullish flow candle. However, we wouldn't buy Nifty itself because it was close to upper boundary. There were many stocks that could be bought instead. Indian market is looking bullish, China is looking bullish, Australia is not so bullish. Let's look at the UK market, FTSE index. Also not looking bullish, isn't it? Moving sideways, very clear from the daily chart as well as in the weekly chart. Not so bullish, sideways. Not bearish as well. I was using Q Global on Metastock for the USA market indices. Why don't we look at indices today? Let's not look at the ETFs. Let's look at the indices. Let's start with Nasdaq index NDX. It was the strongest and it is still very bullish. Weekly, daily, both are in clear uptrend. 1 day ago, NDX gave a bearish headwind signal. However, because there was and still is a memory support line, we were not going to short anything. We would be cautious, but there was no need to short anything. Not NDX or QQQ. Let's look at the S&P 500 index SPX. It's very bullish. 1 week ago, I mentioned that the weekly was very bullish and it was likely to go up. So far, that is true. If it now pulls back little bit, maybe it comes to the memory support in daily and goes up again. That would give very low risk buying opportunity in individual stock. Nasdaq, NDX and S&P 500 SPX both are very bullish. Let's look at Dow Jones Industrial Index DJI. In the last market roundup, weekend market roundup, I mentioned that both Dow Jones and Russell 2000 had weekly resistance, and I also mentioned that it looks like both of them are going to try to go above the memory resistance. So far, Dow is able to go above the memory resistance. It is bullish in the weekly, though in the daily, if you take a step back, it is moving sideways. Still bullish if you look at weekly, not as bullish as SPX or NDX. What about the Russell Index, RUT? What I anticipated in the last market roundup is coming true. It indeed is trying to go above the weekly memory resistance. Similar to DJI in the daily, if you take a step back, it is inside a range. That shows that if you are going to buy a stock now, you could probably buy many stocks because it is looking more bullish than 1 week ago. That is what we can derive from the index analysis. Let's have a look at Q Finder. What is Q Finder? Q Finder are two explorers. scan programs running on Metastock, Q Global. The bearish finder looks for all the possible Q bearish signals and bullish finder looks for all the possible Q bullish signals, and I run it on a large list with at least 1000 shares, and I run it on the weekly as well as on the daily interval. Let's look at both of them. The week is not complete yet, but I can still run scans on the weekly bar, unlike in TradeStation. In TradeStation, that is not possible. In Metastock, that is possible. Here, we have all the Q signals under bearish and bullish categories, but I don't like to look at the numbers, just look at the charts. 77% of the symbols and 76% of the signals are having bullish Q signals. That is very bullish. And this is on the weekly interval. If you further look into it, go with flow and breakouts. Go with flow is the trend following setup. Breakout is the memory resistance breakout setup. Both are very strongly bullish. Pullback to support and then going up in an uptrend is also more bullish than bearish. All the continuation signals are bullish in the weekly interval. Even the reversal signals, whether it is touching the memory support or reversal candle in the weekly chart, both are again more bullish than bearish. Strength signals in terms of gap, overall you can say it is more bullish. Gap is more bullish and little bit less so bullish in terms of pressure, but overall this weekly finder picture is very bullish, no doubt about that. What about yesterday's market? That we can find out from Q Finder daily interval. This is the Q Finder bullish versus bearish daily interval. It was still bullish, 64% of symbols, 65% of the signals were bullish. Again, large number of go with flow and breakout trades. Large number of reversals also. Large number of memory support touch. Therefore, you could take probably many low risk trades. Memory support gives low risk trades. Reversals are also high probability trades. They misled the weekends into thinking that the stocks were going down, but they reversed. You could combine multiple signals from here. What I do usually, I run the finder scans, then I look at these charts and then try to decide what am I going to focus on. Yesterday I saw there were large number of reversals, large number of breakouts. So I asked myself, why don't I look for trades that are giving both a breakout setup as well as a reversal setup. How to find them? I went to the bullish tab in Q Finder. I have already transferred the data from Q Global. I came to the breakout. Where is my breakout? Breakout column. You may put cursor anywhere, click the flag. All the breakouts are flagged, 110 breakouts. And then I also wanted reversal. So I go to the reversal column here anywhere, click the flag again. So now I have 32 symbols which have both breakout and reversal, and I can see many of them has bullish flow. Why not look for that as well? Now I am left with 18 symbols. What I may do now, I may use the default sort order price percentage change. That is a very useful setting. You don't have to actually change it. If you wanted, you could sort by number of total signals yesterday, but I find the percentage change is also very useful. And you can see what came to the top, whale tower. Yesterday I was carrying out this exercise during market hours because all the Q systems can be run in real time, and I do run it only in real time. I don't have access to end of the data. So I found well tower in that way, in very few steps, easy steps, visual steps. And then what I did, I wanted to look at the charts. For looking at the charts, if I close the existing Metastock charts, no, don't save. I never want to save anything. Everything comes from Reuters or Affinitive in real time. So I am on the chart application. My cursor is in the instruments box. Now I can go to any of the Q Zenith tools, Vital, Index, Edge, or Finder as I'm using now. I may put my cursor anywhere on the stock row, well tower. Click the chart icon. It is going to open the chart with my default setting. And instantly you can recognize the signals. We read it from Finder, bullish flow, a breakout, and a reversal candle. In this case, it has a memory support also. It took me only 1 second to decide that this is looking attractive on the daily chart. Then I used my menu bar options to look at it using weekly and daily together, and now it looked even better because weekly has a very nice support from memory support line. This is how I identified the trade setup yesterday, and I shared it on my traders forum. What about its fundamental? We could go to Q Vital and type the symbol well.k. However, the Q systems are integrated. So again, I may come back to Q Finder. Now I click the peer analysis button. It is going to use well as the root stock and carry out the fundamental and peer analysis. It retrieved all the peer stocks. It retrieved basic information about the stock, and you may see that it has a nice dividend yield also, 4.6%. And this is what I saw. 100% of the 17 peer stocks, I am using the peer relationship industry. Let me increase the number of stocks by using the relationship as same or similar industry. You will see the number of stocks will go up. Now it has found 55 stocks. That's a large number for one industry peer stocks. And now you can see still 87% of the stocks are up. If you look at the price performance between 10-day to 1 day, you can see the stock is steadily going up because all the sales are in green color. Nice dividend. Earnings is on 5th August. And if you look at the quarterly earnings growth, excellent quarterly earnings growth, excellent last 3 yearly earnings growth as well, plus a short squeeze potential. This looked quite attractive to me. That's why I shared it. And then you might click the peer analysis button to look at the scorecard of all the stocks. Now I'm going to explain some of the fine tuning I have done on the stock tab for all the Q tools, Q Edge, Q Vital, and Q Index. At the top, we had this smart menu bar. I have reorganized it. Remember, in Q systems, the longer term interval colors are cyan magenta, like in backdrop chart template, and I also showed you the Q Finder weekly charts are all in cyan magenta color scheme. So when you look at the cyan and magenta color buttons on stock tab, those are going to look at the longer time frame. What is the longer time frame? For fundamentals, that will be the yearly time frame for EPS. Not that one, it should be these three: year 1, year 2, year 3 compound earnings growth. Whereas the green red color scheme is used for the lower interval. In case of fundamentals, it will be quarterly. So you may use these buttons which look the same, but the coloring is different. The green red color scheme is used for quarterly interval. Magenta cyan color scheme is used for yearly interval. For the USA market, mostly I am going to use the quarterly interval buttons. Some other countries, because Q systems can be used globally, some other countries like Australia, India, stocks may not declare quarterly result, then you may use the yearly interval. And sometimes if you are looking for strong high growth stocks year after year, then also you may use the yearly interval filters for earnings growth. The button for nearby earnings was there, not changed. I have moved the location of this best fundamental smart filters, 3-star and 1-star, bullish and bearish. Then if you look at the valuation buttons, instead of 4 we have now only 3. There were 2 buttons giving the not operation, not overvalued, not undervalued. That was little bit difficult for using. Not operations are not very intuitive to people, so I changed it to green, red, yellow, that is undervalued, overvalued and medium valued. Another change that is very useful is that the reset button is not required to be used for changing the smart filter from one to another. For example, let me demonstrate. If I am looking for all the undervalued stocks, these are the undervalued stocks, I click the green button. Now if I wanted to look at the overvalued stocks, I don't need to click the reset button anymore. I can just click the red button. It's going to give me all the overvalued stock. Why the reset button is still there? It is there if I want to reset the smart filters for each group. Now if I want to go back to my unfiltered list from this list of overvalued stocks, only then I need to press this reset filter. All my original list of stocks is back. Similarly, if I am looking for the star candidates for buying, I press the 3-star green button. That gives me all the undervalued stocks with great earnings growth. If I wanted to expand my horizon, then I may click the trade candidate green button. I don't need to click the reset button anymore for this group. I may just click the single green button and now you can see we have all the undervalued stocks or stocks with excellent earnings growth. That is a small change but very useful, I find, for all the smart filters. Now let me explain the use of the earnings buttons. They are very useful and I have sequenced them from most rigorous to less rigorous. So if I click the 3 button, this green red color scheme, remember, is for quarterly earnings growth. 3 is going to look for stocks that have consistently high earnings growth in all the last 3 quarters, all 3. If I wanted to have less constraints, then I might look for only 2 quarters excellent earnings growth. So these are the only 2 last quarters earnings growth, very good. And if I click the 1 button, it's going to give me stocks that are having the latest quarter excellent earnings growth. So you may start with the most constraining filter, number 3. Try to find trading opportunities from here. If you don't find, you may relinquish the constraint little bit and then number 1. For my short-term trading, I am happy with just number 1. So I may use only the number 1 filter for most of the times. This can be used across all the platforms, these filters, which are now even more useful. Let us apply it on QEdge. QEdge has all the stocks included in S&P 1500. Now if you are using HGSI or IBD, then you are interested in high growth stocks. High growth stocks can be categorized in many ways, and some people talk about box stocks. I have never met Ian, however, I have high respect for him because I hear from everybody how great his teaching and style was, how he taught everybody. May him rest in peace. So Mr. Yan talked about box stocks, and what I understood about box stocks from Dr. Jeffrey's teachings is that box stocks are basically high growth stocks. There are different categories 1 to 9, and when I watched Dr. Jeffrey's videos, I saw it is not that box 1 is always outperforming others or box 2 or even box 7 the turnaround. At different points of time, different boxes may outperform others. However, all the box stocks had one thing in common, two things actually. One is they were outperforming the market overall, especially in a bullish market, especially when it starts to come up from a low point. But even otherwise, in general, box stocks were doing better than the market. And that was one common thing about all the boxes. And another common thing is they were all high growth stocks. The degree of high growth might vary, but all high growth stocks. And you could now understand the use of the 1 2 3 1 2 3, these 6 buttons. Suppose I want to look for stocks that are having all the last 3 years excellent earnings growth. So I just click this number 3 cyan button here. That gave me all the stocks with consistent earnings growth in the last 3 years. Suppose I also want them to have excellent earnings growth in last 3 quarters also. I click the 3 button for quarterly earnings and I am left with these stocks. That is a very easy way to find high growth stocks. If you want to release the condition for the yearly annual growth, because that may be too constraining, these are probably good breakout candidates. They are already up for very long time with high growth. If you are looking to buy at a lower price point, you might release the yearly filter. So that will give us all the stocks with last 3 quarterly earnings growth. And now you see I'm going to look for undervalued stocks. Clicking this button. Now if I am also looking for high dividend yield, I am sorting by the dividend yield column and I can see at least 2 stocks have more than 4% dividend yield with excellent earnings growth in last 3 quarters, and both are undervalued. One is AROC, one is HAYN. Fundamentally, they are very strong. Now you might look at their technicals and industry. If you wanted to do the exercise in the reverse way, the market is at very high point now. Let's remove all the filters. Instead of trying to, we could reset from here and here, daily and sorry, not daily, quarterly and yearly, or we could just refresh using the download from cache, this pink color button, top left corner. We have all the stocks back. Market is at a very high point. Why don't we look for stocks that have consistent negative earnings growth for last 3 quarters? Simply click the 3 button here. These are all having consistently negative earnings growth last 3 quarters. Let's look for also overvalued stocks. We have so many stocks. Let's look for stocks that are, let's sort by 52-week high, and we can see, let me double click again to reverse the sort order. We have several of the stocks around 10% or less near 52-week high. So these are fundamentally very weak in terms of valuation, in terms of earnings growth, but still they are at a high price point. You can see they are in consumer finance, semiconductor, different industries. If you look at the sectors in financial, infotech, many of them are in infotech. Infotech is going up very much. We know that from NDX also and QQQ analysis also. So that is the way you could look for strong fundamental or weak fundamental stocks. Let me now demonstrate one more thing. I am refreshing the data from cache. Let me start with all undervalued stocks with 3 quarterly earnings growth. Consistent 3 quarters earnings growth, high earnings growth. Suppose I analyze these stocks further, I don't find any interesting buying opportunity, Then I am going to make my requirement less stringent. So click the 2 button, no need to reset anything again. We have the stocks with 2 quarterly strong earnings growth. Now I'm demonstrating how you are releasing conditions one by one. So from 2, I click the only 1 quarter best earnings growth, very nice earnings growth. Then I am using less stringent criteria. This reversal that is going to look for negative to positive. It not only went up, but it turned from negative to positive. You may say kind of turn around. If you don't want that also, you may release the condition further. You may click the thumbs up, that is going to show all the stocks with increasing earnings growth. Not necessarily turning from negative to positive, like in this case it was positive all along, like in this case it was negative all along in last 2 quarters, but I click the thumbs up to get the stocks where the earnings growth is increasing. That itself may be a trigger for the stock to start to go up. You may use the negative filters in a similar way. Now that is the analysis you may do in Q Edge on S&P 1500 stocks. What if you had your own list of stocks? You may put them in Q Vital. There is one tab Universe. Here I have provided one default list, that is the liquid stocks with 5 years history, and you may create this list yourself using Q Global. The other lists that you have, whether IBD 50 or HSI list or any list you have, you may put it in the other columns. How to analyze them? You may put your cursor anywhere on the column, click the peer analysis button. It is going to take the list, and now it is sending request to Refinitiv, used to be called Reuters, now Refinitiv, to get their fundamental data, and then it will calculate the Q scorecard. Let us give it a few seconds. When I am not conducting the webinar, it is faster. It is done. Now I can click the scorecard peer analysis button to look at the scorecard. And now you see on your own custom list, you may carry out the same exercise. You may look at not only the smart filters, you may look at the price performance, you may look at their earnings growth, revenue growth over longer period, fundamental ratios, or basic information. Mostly I have everything in the first tab, that's why I call it Vital tab, Vital panel. And now on this custom list, this is not S&P 1500, but this is a list of highly liquid stocks with 5 years of history. Let's do the same exercise again. Undervalued stocks with 1 quarter earning growth. Another way of doing the same thing, and the easier way that I prefer, is click the one start green button. Now how I exercise it in real life, I click the 3-star button first. That gives me all the star fundamental stocks with great valuation, great earnings growth. Then I look at their price performance for the day, look at the best performers, open them with chart, and why don't I do that? I'm going to click the chart icon. I have set my default trading system to Q Global running on Meta stocks. If I click the chart icon, it will open the charts. I'm looking at the star candidates, fundamental candidates, which has great earnings growth, great valuation. Now I'm looking for a low risk buy point. If I don't find something, I delete it. This one is looking good, so I'm not going to delete it. I'll come back to this and use Control Tab. HIW. See, this is another stock that I shared yesterday, and this is how you could find it. HIW. Let's continue. I'll come back to HIW. It's too much high in the price level. I'm not going to look at it. Memory resistances are there nearby. I'm not going to look at it. too high, sideways, still below memory resistance, too high, memory, too high, sideways. Okay, let's look at HIW. You see, I just click to exclude stocks with less than 1 second spent on each chart. Fundamentally, all of them were strong. However, HIW is one which looked interesting to me in terms of technicals. Now is the time to look at it using weekly, daily, and here also the weekly is looking quite good. It is moving sideways for several weeks. This week's candle shape and color turned bullish while it broke out of the memory resistance as memory support and also displayed a reversal candle. That is no resistance nearby. Reward risk ratio is attractive. Let's go back to Finder. Remember in Finder what I was focusing on yesterday on the stocks that had breakout as well as reversal. I found one stock from Finder well, and then I found the same pattern but using a different workflow. Running fundamental scorecard on Q Vital, my custom list, looking for the best fundamental stocks, looking for the stocks that are going up, and then looking at the technical charts. These changes you will find very useful to look for trading candidates, the smart filters. What else I wanted to share today? The diary. Why don't we take this example of HIW and try to use the diary to decide how many shares to buy. I could use Q Global or Q Elite. Let me switch to Q Elite running on TradeStation. HIW. The charts are the same, platform is different. Let's say I am planning to buy the stock today if it goes above yesterday's high. Yesterday's high was 37.38. Let's say 37.45. Let's say 37.45. Then I go to Q Diary. There is a sizing tab now and a home tab. Earlier sizing was also in the home tab. That was taking some space in terms of this column area, so I moved it to sizing. So my entry price was 37.45. So in diary I'm going to put 37.45. Now market is not open yet. I may analyze multiple stocks and then I have to remember what number of shares to buy. If that is the case, I'm going to type it here. Well dot, not this was HIW. 37.45 is my expected entry price. What is the stop level? Stop level is decided by the Q protection signal. It will be just below the memory support, but no harm looking at the Q protection level. It's here, let's say 35.05. I go to diary. If I have a list of stocks, then I type it here with the stock name 35.05. And if it is during market hours, I don't need to remember the stock, then I just click it here 35.35.05. Either will do. After market hours, I have to remember one by one, like HIW, well, .k, etc. In that case, I use the list. If during market hours I am going to calculate sizing and buy my stock, then I just use this header area. What is my target? Let's look at the weekly chart for target. Initially we may decide that we are going to, let me show you what I am looking at. There is a congestion area to the left here which is near the peak, so I am going to target that my profit will be, let's say, 43.7. 43.7. 43.7. I could also use this 43.7. Now it tells me that I could buy 125 shares. My risk is $300 in the trade. My reward risk ratio is 2.6, and I will reach reward risk ratio 1, that is same reward as risk, when it reaches 39.85. So though my target is 43.7 based on weekly chart, I will not mind booking some profit when it goes to 39.85. And 39.85 is here, much below, here. 39.85 is somewhere here, much below my final profit target. But I am going to know about both of them from Q diary. If I am going to office, I am not able to look at the stock during market hours, then I may go to my brokerage and place the buying order. If that gets filled, it is also going to trigger the stop and target orders using one initiates another. Most brokerages will allow that. Now, where did this number $300 risk and number 125 quantity come from? It is based on the initial equity for this diary. I have set the initial equity to 30,000. You may set it to whatever is your initial equity. 30,000 is not a bad number for beginning traders, because why? Up to $25,000 there are day trading restrictions. Not that we are going to day trade, at least not my style, but at least I want to have the flexibility to close more than 3 trades in 5 trading days, etc. if I need to. Not that I want to day trade, but even for swing trading, you may end up closing some trades more than the restriction would allow. That's why I think 30,000 is safer, so that you are not under the day trading rule restriction. But any amount is also fine if you are not day trading. 10,000 is also fine. And of course, $1 million is fine. I tend to book some profit when my initial target is reached, and then let profit run on the remaining position. If you are doing that, then this factor will decide how much is the initial quantity to be sold. I have set it to 2/3, 0.67. Some people use 0.5, half position they close when initial target is reached, and then try to let profit run on the remaining. You may try both and see what suits you more. I tend to like 0.67. And then what is the amount you are going to risk in each trade? Amount of total capital, 30,000 in this case, initial equity. So you may use it 1%, 2%. I like to use 1%. I'm risk averse. So risk per trade is 300. So in sizing tab, when you are entering the entry stop target price, it is using your equity and your risk tolerance 1% only in each trade to tell you that you can buy how many shares. 125 shares and your risk exactly 300. That is how you can size it. You can remember the sizes and check the stocks during market hours to see if you get an entry. Now in the home tab, once you get the fill, let's say I got the fill yesterday on HIW. I could get a better feel than the closing price because I bought it using real-time analysis. Let's look at the chart with at a glance. I'm using hotkeys to change the template. Closing is 37.36. Let's say I entered 37.30. Not much below that, 37.30. Now I'm going to log it. So HIW is my symbol. My entry date yesterday, 22nd July. Entry quantity. Diary told me the entry quantity based on my initial equity of 30,000 assumption, 125. My entry price, what did I say? 37.30. 37.30. I'm going to put it 37.3, and my initial stop and initial target that are already there in the sizing tab. I may copy that. Now there are some additional flexibilities. When the initial target is hit, let's say initial target is hit, then what I am going to do, just hypothetically, let's say 23rd July has come today and I got lucky and my target is hit. If target is hit, in fact, you will see if the reward risk ratio equal to 1, that price 39.55 is hit, then you will see some color will change here to alert you. If the final target is reached, then also color will change. If the stop is hit, then also color will change. That will tell you that you need to do something, either book profit or cut loss. Those alerts are made using color change. Let's say I exited, by the way, it's also showing my quantity in hand, and there is another column I wanted to show you. Let's try to show the other thing. I suggested initial quantity. That means if my initial profit target is hit, let's say this reward risk ratio price 1, when I reach the risk amount as reward, then I am going to exit 84 quantity. So I try to follow that number. 84 is not a round number, so I may close 85 and 85 at 39.55. Let's say exit quantity 85 at 39.55. Once I exited initial position, now my target, what is my revised target? I'm going to keep this same initial target because I exited at RRR1. So revised target I will keep same 43.7. And now I have to decide, do I leave the stop loss at original stop loss or I move it? If I go back to the chart, I already booked partial position. I might look at the protection signal, and maybe by that time protection stop has come up to 37.80, maybe. Let's assume 37.80. Then I'm going to go to diary and say my revised stop loss is now 39.80. Not possible, right? Because I'm exiting at 39.55. Let's say 39. Just example. And when you enter your revised target, revised stop loss, again, when the revised target, revised stop loss are hit, you will see color changes here, alerting you that you need to do something. And you can see some color has changed here already, that is showing that partial profit is booked. Now you can see the P&L is all wrong. That is because currently the streaming mode is off. This tool works in 100% real time. Using again Refinitiv data, if you click play, it will actually show the P&L and some other statistics. Now it is saying that there is some profit, 4% profit, and here you can see net P&L 194, only one trade, so profit from here. Net P&L percentage, this is percentage of total equity 30,000. Annualized, if you keep on getting this rate very high, of course we cannot realistically annualize one trade into 1 year, but as you fill up more and more trades, it is going to show you projection of annualized return. It is also showing some statistics, total number of trades taken 1, number in profit 1, number in loss 0, 100% profitable so far. So far you have only 1 day of trading. And mark to market profit loss. How many open trades? Fully open 0, partially closed 1, because here we partially closed 1 trade, and then totally closed 0. You will get everything you need to know for managing your positions. Now if you go further to the right, you are able to exit the trade in several legs. Usually I use 2 or 3 legs. It has facility for up to 4 legs exit. Now there are some columns to the right. These are very useful, especially for a beginning trader, to log what is the reason for buying the stock or shorting the stock. So let's fill it up for HIW, and this is to be filled up when planning the trade. And when we planned, what did we see for HIW? Market was bullish. So I may just write text bullish. Industry, we saw large number of stocks in the industry were going up, but we might also, let's do the peer analysis again. HIW, I'm using Q Vital now. Office rates, let's check up its industry scorecard from Q Edge. I click the cog button, and industry is strong now here, cyan, in the recent period, also accelerating. So what I'm going to do in diary, I'm going to say industry is strong and accelerating, and in Q Vital I can see excellent valuation plus earnings growth. So I have everything now that I need to remember for reviewing the trade later. So industry strong plus accelerating, and fundamental undervalued plus earnings growth. Technical, we already saw the technical. Let's look at it again. It's a breakout plus a reversal in the daily chart. Daily is the primary time frame for trading. So let's say in diary, technical breakout plus reversal. The last few columns are to say that am I disciplined in execution of the trade. Sizing, we use diary. We bought only the number of shares that it told. So sizing, I'm going to score myself 1. I did sizing, and did I enter it also properly? What does it mean, entry quality? Entry quality means, am I buying it right at market open? If I'm buying it today, if I bought it yesterday, did I buy it using Q fine-tuned real-time chart, or waited for the market closing time around that? If I did that, that is sound entry technique, then I'm going to say my entry quality was strong 1. On the other hand, if I just heard about the stock from Q Traders Forum, went to my brokerage and entered the trade without looking at fine tune or without waiting for the market close, then I'm going to log my trade. My entry quality is -1, and you can see it changes the color, and there is some summary information. But in this case, I entered it with discipline, and I have not exited. Okay, I exited, initial exit with discipline when target is hit. Remaining exit, I have not exited, and you can see currently only one trade is executed. My score is 100. As you fill up more and more trades here, the score will change. And I have seen any trader using a robust system, Q system, or any robust system, but of course I like Q systems. That's the only thing I follow. If you can keep this discipline level to 80% or higher, difficult to lose money. This is the part that is driving your trade result after you have a robust system. There are many people using the same robust system but still not making money, and if you put some effort to fill this up for 20 trades, 50 trades, this area will tell you what is going on. Another way is of course to log the trades in Q Traders Forum, but whether you do that or not, you may maintain the diary, because this will be giving you a running feedback in real time, and it will also help you manage the trades. You may put some comment also that psychologically how you were feeling. That is how I maintain the diary. The advantage of the diary is that it shows the overall statistics. You know what you are doing. How is your result? How are you doing? Is it good or bad? Finally, it has to be positive return for us to make money from trading. It also tells you number of profitable, number of losing trades. It tells you how many trades are open. At a time, you may not want to open too many trades unless some of them are already profitable and you have applied stop loss to make them almost risk-free. There is a number of, let's say 8 trades or 10 trades you may want to open. So it will give you feedback on that, and very importantly, it will tell you in this area if a target or stop is hit. That is how I use the diary. When you are in a diary, if you wanted to check the stocks chart for the day, suppose we had multiple entries. Suppose I have HIW and well.k. I'm not filling up the row for well.k. Suppose I want to check my charts today, I may click the chart icon from here. So every day I can review my stocks from there simply by going from there. And if I wanted to check their fundamentals may change if the stock goes up or down. You may highlight all of them together and click the peer analysis button. It will not use any root stock but use your open positions to do a fundamental analysis only a few seconds, and then you may look at it. Are they still undervalued? Are they still having great earnings growth or not? That is how you may use QH, Vital, Finder, Global and Elite together. Now about the versions of QFinder Weekly, which has the same calculation but the coloring of the chart is different for me to know instantly that it is weekly or daily I'm looking at. And the versions of QVital Edge Index where you have these revised smart filters, they are available now. You may log into your personalized page by going to my forum or site sagarnandi.com. Remember, this button is for logging into your personalized page, and you may download Q Finder from there, and you may also download the latest Edge Vital Index from there. That is all that I plan to share in today's session. We are at the 1 hour mark. Thank you very much for attending. Okay, one more announcement. Every week we used to have the Graduates Club meeting on Wednesday. I'm going to open it to everybody who has Q systems, even if they are not sharing posts in Q Traders Forum. Not many traders are sharing in Traders Forum, so it's good that everybody benefits from it. I'm going to invite other people also who have Q systems, not a large number of people. Let's see if more people join. I will send out a separate mail on that. Therefore, we'll have two possible webinars every week. One is this session that I have, live market meet, and another one for the Q systems traders. I will continue with the weekend videos also. Thank you once again. I look forward to seeing you in my next session. Have a great day, have a great week, and trade profitably. Stay safe. Thank you.